Welcome back to Session 4 of Business Strategy. Failure to plan means you plan to fail. In this session, we will look at evaluating the strengths and weaknesses of your business. Our learning objectives for this session are as follows. What goes into strategy development? Going to the other side of the hill, learning about how to identify your strengths and how to keep them, looking at identifying your weaknesses and how to improve them, and finally, planning for sustainable competitive advantage. The quotes for this week come first from Colossians 3:23-24, which says, "Whatever you do, work heartily as for the Lord, and not for men, knowing that from the Lord you will receive the inheritance as your reward. You are serving the Lord Christ." And from Eric Bowden, The Failure of Strategy, we find, "It is important that all employees share a common view about the level of competence they will require for the strategy to succeed. Unrecognized incompetence, however, can lay waste to the best plans." As we have seen, to be an entrepreneur, you must have passion for your business idea. But you must also act with right motives. As a Christian, it is the Lord Jesus Christ whom we serve. As Christ's servants, we as business owners have a responsibility to those whom we might employ. By treating employees as we would wish to be treated ourselves, we will earn their respect and their loyalty. However, don't reward incompetence. If you do, you will drive your truly competent employees or partners away. In our last session, we asked you to do the following. We asked you to write a paper in which you, in one paragraph, wrote about your business mission statement. In another paragraph, we wanted you to describe your value proposition. In one page, we asked you to describe your revenue model and to state specifically how you plan to make money. We also asked you to flesh out a two-page description of your strategic plan, including the things we've discussed in the previous session. And finally, we asked you to write a one-page description of your marketing strategy. One question you should be asking yourself after having done all of this is, how in the world do I evaluate what I'm doing? So, remember these questions from the servant salesmanship session number 2, in which we talked about answering these questions. What business am I really in? Why do my customers buy from me? And how do I define success? In this module, we'll dig into this more for your business, especially in this session. You see, strategy development includes weighing organizational strengths and competitive capabilities and assessing them against opportunities that might exist. We also need to consider challenges to the desired strategies that we have, and given our understanding of the competitive landscape, we need to think about what adjustments we need to make in order to move forward. Another thing to consider is something called corporate governance. This is essentially how you establish operating procedures to sustain your day-to-day efforts. We need to figure out what happens if a key person or supplier backs out and doesn't work with you like you had planned. And so with this as an introduction, what we'd like you to do is to stop the video. From the previous slide, we see it's one thing to commit to our plans to writing, but it's another thing to execute and make things happen. So in this session, we'll help you evaluate the strengths and weaknesses of your business idea. But for now, get with someone else and discuss what you think those strengths and weaknesses are.